Hello all, welcome to another interesting session on SAP product costing. Today we are going to understand what is a splitting structure. There is a lot of confusion prevailing, right, about what a splitting structure is, right, and how to make use of it. So let me start with a scenario. Okay, I have updated the scenario. So give me 1 second. Yeah, you have the scenario here. Let us say you have activity independent costs such as stationary costs or internet costs, but you want to attribute these to one of the activity types, right? You want to attribute them to one of the activity type. How do you do that? So these are not the power cost, fuel cost, machine cost, labor cost, etc. These are completely activity independent expense, but you wanted to load it to one of the activity type. So how do we go about doing that? Okay, now we have seen, right, various costs gets assigned to a production order. Let's say the raw materials which you are consuming for this particular production order. Let's say you need a raw material 2 units per order, one finished good, and you are producing 100 units, so you will consume 200 units of raw material. So that comes here. 1 second, let me bring the screen. So that is consumption. Then we have seen how to do the plan for internal activity. So in another session, I will be covering overhead and template, right? Now we are talking about splitting structure. How do I assign this research cost, office expenses, welfare, etc. Okay, to one of those. These are activity independent. How do we do that? So there are some steps here. You have to define the splitting rule, assign the splitting structure to the cost center, assign planned activity quantity, enter planned activity costs, enter planned splitting, okay, execute planned splitting and calculate planned activity price. So this is what we will be doing. So okay, let us understand what a splitting structure is. See, when it comes to activity dependent planning, there is a direct correlation between the cost of activity and the quantity of the activity. So you will take the planned labor costs, for example, here let's say labor cost, planned labor cost which you enter in KPC 06 divided by planned labor activity quantity. When you execute the KSPI, what it does is per unit labor activity price it computes, right? Which we have seen in the activity planned activity rate. But for independent planning, there is no denominator. You only have planned cost. It is not associated with an activity. Now here you can make use of a statistical key figure, or you can make use of the quantity of another activity and associate these planned cost to one of those activities, maybe power, maybe fuel, or one of those activities. We can create a totally new activity saying K105, and you can load these activity independent costing directly to one of those attributes. So you need to define the rules of such splitting structure and assign the splitting structure to the specific cost center. Now, this is the theory. If you do the F1 help on the splitting structure, you will get to know that one. Okay. I will leave it for you to read it. Okay. In a splitting structure, you define how and which activity independent costs of a cost center are split among the activity types. So you are to attribute it to one of those activity types. This applies to both plan as well as actual independent costs. So both you need to do. A splitting structure consists of one or more assignments, right? Each splitting rule is based on a splitting method. I told you there are various splitting methods. One is on statistical key figure. The other one you can use it as a activity quantity of associated another associated activity quantity, right? You can assign it to a cost center or a cost center group or cost center in a given interval to all of this. Let's look at how to do this one now, right? How do we do this one? Let me go to SAP. Okay. Now, let's say we have three different costs. So I'll make use of the Excel also. So we have three different costs. One is 401 400, which is your, let's say the description you need it right here. I'll just enter description. This is 400 is your research and dev, and these are your office expenses, and this is your staff welfare cost, right? You have three costs, right? So this I wanted to plan And let's say I want to plan around, let's say how much of cost I am planning, everything is going to be fixed here. So let's say the research and development cost could be, let's say 12,000. Okay. And office expenses, let's say roughly translate to 6,000. And then there is a 3,000 worth of $3,000 worth of staff welfare. So let's say staff welfare, you have a per month budget of 250. So this is the total here. So the total should be taken from here. So fixed plus variable. Okay. Now what happens is, what is the total of this one? 12,000 plus 6,000, 6,000 plus 3,000. Let me get you the total. So the total is 21,000. This 21,000 I am going to assign it to, let's say I'll remove this. I'm going to assign it to the machine. I'll also assign it to the machine. Machine activity. Let's say forever. What is my machine activity hours? It is 30,000. So machine hours is 30, 30k hours. So let me divide this 21,000 with the machine activity of 30. So it becomes 0.7. Is there another decimal? 0.75. 0.7 per hour. This is the cost 0.7. So if I increase this 0.7, your machine cost will now become, instead of 2, it will, I will strike it if there is a, yeah, there should be a strike somewhere in Excel, isn't it? Okay, now it will become 2.7. Why it will become 2.7? Because I am loading the independent cost also on top of this. So it will become 2.7. Let me mark it in green and increase the font size. Okay, this will be the new machine cost which I will show it to you. So in the planned activity rate, I associated this 60,000 cost to the 30,000 hours and I got 2 hours. But then I am loading some activity independent cost of 21,000, and when I divide it by the number of hours of 30,000, I get 0.7 hours per hour. This I am going to add it to the machine cost, which I will now show it to you, right? So let's go to the splitting structure and create a splitting structure /n. Okay, not here. Do I have anything here? Okay. So I will now go to SPRO. I'll directly use the T code SIMG. In SIMG, I'll go to controlling. In controlling, product cost controlling. No, go to cost center accounting. You can go to planning or actuals also. You will come to the same screen, allocations. In allocations, you have activity allocations. Sorry, not assessment, activity allocation. Go to splitting, define splitting structure. So click execute. Okay, here I am going to create a new structure, but here first let's define a splitting rule. So here the first we have to define the splitting rule, and then we will come back and assign that splitting rule to the splitting structure. Okay, so let me create a splitting rule. Okay, new entries. So I am creating a B100 as a splitting rule. So I'll say it is T100 splitting rule. Instead of that, I'll say B100. So I'll give a description here, B100. Okay, very important to give here is method. What is the method? So if you look at the method, do you want to attribute it based on activity quantity or capacity planning, output planning, or statistical key figure? This is what I was saying. So it will choose the denominator. So I'll say it has to be based on activity quantity, and I will save. So the rule got created. B100 rule is now created. Now I have to create a splitting structure. So now from splitting, after splitting rules, now you go to splitting structure, double click on splitting structure, click on new entries. I'll say B1. So I'll say B1. So it is B100 splitting structure, B100 splitting structure. Save, okay. Save. You have to give assignments. Okay. So select this, click on assignments. I am going to add 3 costs, right? So I will give here first assignment 10. So what are the costs I am going to add here? I am going to add R&D, research and development, office expenses, staff welfare, And what is the rule you created? You created a rule called B100. Search here. So you have created B100 rule. So I'm going to associate that rule to this particular assignment. If I give it as if I define my rule B200 as capacity, I will select here that particular rule. So this is how the rule is given assignment to this particular cost. For research and development, office expenses, staff welfare, I will associate it to a particular activity. Click save, select this. Now you have to give what are the cost elements. You have to give what are the cost elements. Select new entries. See cost element. My cost element for research and development is 410, 4 zeros. It is 4 series 400, I believe. Let me search. So chart of accounts is B100. Okay, if you look at it 400, see research and development. From research and development till office expenses 401, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 420. I am asking it to assign it to which activity type I want to assign, labor or machine. We said we will assign it to machine, so the activity type is B102. Instead of giving this cost element range, I can create a group and assign the group here. So I will rather assign the group here. So what I will now do is that I'll create a group. So KAH1 is the transaction code. So I'll say I'm going to create B100 splitting structure 1. So I am going to create it here. So say enter. So I'll say B100 B100 splitting structure. I will assign the cost elements. So the cost element was 400, 400. So I'm going to give here 400, 400. Again 400, 400, 410. I'm assigning specific cost elements. I'm not giving a range. 400, 420. Okay. I'm going to assign this group. I'm going to assign B100 underscore SS01 in place of cost element. So instead of this, so when I select a range tomorrow, if I create 401, 402 cost element, those also will get assigned. Instead of that, I have created a cost element group. So here I am assigning cost element B100 underscore SS01. Done. I have associated all the cost elements which will be part of this group to this particular activity type. I'll simply say yes. Say yes. Now go back, save, back, done. Now this splitting structure I will assign to my all my production cost centers. You can choose which product cost centers you want to assign. So I will say cost center group is BB10. I'll select the cost center group BB10 and then I will associate it version 0, all versions 2024. Ignore the cost center. I'm not giving cost center range. Here I will pick and choose which cost element. Now there's no enter button. You have to click on the change button. Select the change button. BB10 cost center group, it doesn't exist. Let's search. So I am in controlling area T100. So I have to change the controlling area extras, set controlling area. It is B100. I hope I have defined the splitting structure in B100 controlling area. Otherwise I will have to delete it and recreate it. So here I have gone to extras, set my controlling area and I have selected that particular cost center group. Now click on change. In change, you can see it gives me all the cost elements. I am only going to take the production cost center GB1, GB2, GB3 and I am going to select my splitting structure here and then I will click on the assign button. This is the assign button. Be careful, shift F6. Shift F6 or this particular button here. Click yes. So now if you expand the B1, you see I have assigned these BB10 cost centers to the splitting structure. This is the second step. Now save it. Now save it. Done. Okay. Now I'll go to this cost center and I will show you the report. It will not have values for those particular cost elements. Then I will go to KP06 and do an activity independent planning. So let's go to the cost center report. So I can select the cost center report if in this last 10 transactions. So it's not there. So slash n s underscore ALR underscore 87013611 enter. So B100, so I am going to search for the entire group. So I'm not giving any particular cost element. So let me just check. So only one cost center we have planned. You see here primary cost element I have not planned for 400, 410, 420, right? We will do the planning now. So go to KP06. I have one more screen open here. So this is saved. So go back. So I'll go to the transaction code KP06. Okay. Escape. No. Click on here. Why does it give? Click here KP06. So enter KP06. So I am not going to assign any activity. See, I am not going to assign any activity, because if I assign activity, it becomes activity dependent planning, right? I'm going to do this activity independent planning. This group will select those three cost elements. I'm going to bring all my production cost group, which will be BB10 GB0001, right, to BB10 GB0003. So say enter. So say OK. Okay. B100 SS1 cannot be used. I wonder why it cannot be used. So B100 SS1. Okay. So there I have a doubt whether I have created in the right controlling area. So that is my small confusion here, where I have created the B100. Okay. Nevertheless, let me now give those cost elements here. So let's say 400, 401, 4 zeros, 410, okay, and 420. Sorry, it is from 400 onwards I have to select. Okay, say execute. Okay, so the records are already being processed by S4H. So I am already, it says already I am processing it. Let's see if I have blocked in any screen anything. So let me go and close this. No, this one, this particular report here. I'll close this. End price calculation. I don't need this screen here. Okay. Now let me enter the KP06 and say overview. Yeah. Now you see which cost center I am entering the value here, right? So I'll go to the Excel and copy paste the values. So these are my values: 12,000, 6,000, 3,000. So everything I am going to give as fixed. Okay, done, enter. Just check if it has distributed the values. 1000, run. So now go back. I'll copy this to the second cost center again. Enter. Done. Go to the next one and say. Now because you did not enter activity, you don't find activity here. So these are activity independent. Now I will save them. Okay. Let me just go and just check whether I have this cost element group in uh, cost center in my controlling area. So KAH2, let me just check environment extras, set controlling area. So B100 is my controlling area. I had created something as BB10 underscore SS01. So see, it says it does not. By mistake, I have created the cost element group in a different controlling area. So that was my mistake. So slash NKAH1. Okay. Let me set the controlling area extras. Okay. Set controlling area. It is B100. You need to check this one. BB10 underscore SS01. I am now going to create it. So same description I will copy BB10 cost elements. Instead of BB10, you can make it B100 also, assign the same structure to the second plant. So you can do that. So as of, okay, let me do that as B100. Again, let me go to KAH1. Instead of BB10, I will call it B100. Okay. So I'll say B100 splitting structure elements. Give here the cost element. What was the cost element which we said? 401, 4 zeros, 400, right? 400, 410, 420. So my mistake, it has clicked here, my mistake. So 401, 4 zeros, 400, and then copy it here, 420, just edit it to 20, enter, save. Now in this controlling area, it has got created, which is what you need to do. Now you need to assign it to the, you need to perform the splitting structure activity. I will show it to you. Go to /n, accounting, controlling, cost center accounting, planning, cost center budget, activity output prices, no, not here. So planning aids, can you see here KSPI? So I can't see here KSPI. So cost center budgets, not here. KSPI allocations. So yeah, you can see KSS4 splitting here. So click on KSS4. Okay, you know your cost centers. These are my cost centers where I want the splitting to be performed. I have done the costing also, but I have not entered the quantities for all the cost centers. Only for GB0001 I have done. So I need not select other cost centers. Do a test run. Okay, so from period 1 to 12, test run, execute it. See, these costs are now associated 101, 102, 103, 104. So you will get these weird values if you have done it wrong. Let me just check whether my splitting structure is created in K100. I think there is a mistake there. /n SIMG. Okay, go to controlling. Okay, mistakes are good because you get to learn. All right, product cost controlling, no, not product cost center accounting. In cost center accounting, go to planning. In planning, allocations. In allocations, activity allocation, splitting. Okay, in splitting, let me first set the controlling area. So define splitting structure. Okay, now I have B1, let's say extras, set controlling area. So in controlling area B100, let me see if B1 I have done the assignments. It has done the assignments correctly, and selection, see here it has not assigned because I did the assignment in some other controlling area. We need to be watchful. So you need to do it in controlling area B100. So now you say new entries. You created a group, right? B100 underscore SS01. You are going to attribute it to activity B102, machine activity. Save it. Very important. Okay, save it. Now when you do the calculations, it should work for you. Save, go back, save, go back. Okay, where was the other session? Okay, let me just click here. Where is the other session? Not there. So again, it is KSS4T code. Okay, /n, but I'll go through the path. So you see controlling, planning, allocations, splitting. Okay, BB10 GB001. Do the test run. You are getting weird values previously. Now you see the total 21,000 has come. This 21,000 will tally with the cost you entered plus the Excel sheet. See, you remember this our total comes to 21,000. See, your 21,000 is here, right? So now it is confirmed. So I'll go back and save the values. Do you want to leave the display? Yes. Remove the test run. Say yes. Execute it. Okay. Back. Save. Do you want to leave the? Yes. Now it is done. Now what I will do is that I'll go to KP27. I'll show you the price. KP27 before executing the planned activity, right? So B102 is the machine activity. Just check the price. The price is 1.6 plus 0.42, right? Which tallies with your Excel, the 2 here. But after I do the planned activity rate again, the rate of this particular machine activity here, right? This will completely change to 2.7, which is what I will now show it to you. So now go back to easy access menu. The next step after KSS4 is price calculation. Go to price calculation. So you have to enter the cost center group. This is one place they have not given us the cost center. Unfortunately, I have to select the entire group. So BB10 underscore B is the group where I have my production cost center. So BB10 underscore B. Okay, no business process 0 to 1 test run. I am doing the test run. So execute it. So now you look at the machine cost 2.7. You see B102 is 2.7 because it has loaded the 0.7 per hour rate of independent cost onto the machine activity. I'll go back. Okay. Do you want to post? No. I'll remove the test run. Say execute it. Okay. Say okay. So see 2.7 has come. Right. Now I'll show you in KP27 the machine cost. Okay, KP27, not this particular cost center. I want to show you here cost center. Okay, cost center is BB10 GB000001. Machine is the one. So there, if you see the value, it was 1.6 plus this 0.7, this 2.3 is the revised price. Though it is not machine cost, it is more than the machine cost, the independent cost, which I have attributed it to the activity type. Very, very important for you to understand. With this, I have successfully shown you the demo of splitting structure. We faced some issues. Those issues are good, so you know what mistakes you should not make. I'll be covering all of these in detail. So thank you very much for your time. So please practice. Unless you practice, you will not be able to get those desired results. So in case if you are facing issues, I am there to help. Please contact me. Thank you very much. Happy learning.